It's pretty good.
Pretty good? It does
Colder than all get out today.
Okay. But they're going to be seeing the screen.
But one of these days I'll be complaining about how hot it is.
I know. It's rarely that perfect middle. So
Can we take number or is it CSM number 8? They've got to leave right away, so if we could take them first, we're recommending approval. It should be a slam dunk. So. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
we do have some people on Zoom tonight.
I guess the open book is filling up according to Jason. People are just
All right. Thank you, sir. Oh, an hour and a half outside. Yeah, that's going to be so. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to call the Plan Commission to order. I'll ask staff to take a quick roll call.
Thanks, Mayor Devine.
Here.
Wayne Clark.
Yes.
Kathleen Degenhardt. Brian Frank.
Here.
David Roshka.
Here.
Eric Torkelson.
Here.
Jessica Katzenmeyer.
Here.
Brandon Reinke. I think he's excused.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we have a quorum.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, then we'll take up item C, approval of the minutes from the March 27th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any corrections or changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. We will move on to section D, and we were asked if we could take one item out of order due to a double booking of some type. Item 8 is a certified survey map. Turn it over to staff.
Thanks, Mayor. This is a property at 9422 and 9440 West National. Previous Plan Commission meeting, we had approved a site plan for demolition of the 9422 building and then a future parking lot being created on that site for some additional off-street parking. And the two here, the CSM is combining those two properties, which are under common ownership, together into one lot of record, and staff is recommending approval.
I'd move approval.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Same night.
It happens. All right, we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program, and we will take up items 2A and 2B.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for Tsunami Car Wash. This is located at 10928 West Oklahoma Avenue. Since the previous Plan Commission meeting in March, Tsunami has came back and submitted revised site plans. As additional context, this is the car wash on the existing Credit Roll lot. This is a conditional use permit required for both the accessory drive-through and also the car wash itself. Looking at the new site plan, you can see that the overall site plan changed to have the building along West Oklahoma Avenue with the vacuum area, parking area located in the back along with the drive aisle. This complies with staff recommendations at the previous Plan Commission meeting of moving the building up towards Oklahoma Avenue to comply with our design review guidelines. They've shown a reduction in parking stalls from 31 to 28. And they are showing that vacuum pump house and trash enclosure in a less visible spot on the overall site. The landscaping plan has been updated to reflect that site plan change. They show that retention pond on the east side of the property now, along with the enhanced landscaping along West Oklahoma Avenue. This provides great visual interest and complies with our overall guidelines for landscaping. The architectural plan, they were minor changes that were requested as part of the last Plan Commission. That was because they included EFS on the facade. That was very minor and small, but it still wasn't permitted as a material. But that has since been removed, and they have updated the facade to show additional glazing in the form of windows, primarily on the south and north facades. With that being said, they do comply with design review guidelines and the applicable ones in a much better way than they previously had, and we're happy with the changes to the site that were submitted. With that being said, we are recommending approval of the conditional use permit and the site landscaping plans for Tsunami Express Car Wash with some conditions. Those are mostly administrative and have to do more so with the permitting process itself. Thank you.
Any questions? Wayne, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Given the anticipated amount of business, has the traffic situation on West Oklahoma Avenue been looked at by the engineering department?
Yes, they have submitted, as part of this application process, Tsunami submitted a traffic impact analysis, and that was okayed by our engineering team and also Milwaukee County.
Is there an expectation there'll be backup on Oklahoma Avenue?
Based on the traffic study, there's not, but we do have some team members from Redmond Company, which is the developer for this car wash, if they'd like to speak on anything else.
Yeah, so we actually talked with a traffic engineer that we kind of have a good relationship with, just to kind of discuss the two different entrance points that were on the original site plan. And at the previous meeting, staff had requested using the access lane to the west of the site and having a shared access easement. And it was strongly recommended to not do that because there would be an increased number of U-turns that can be significantly more dangerous than just maintaining that cross break in the median where on the east, that's existing on the east access. So just by keeping that east access, it shouldn't have any anticipated backups due to U-turns or anything.
Thank you.
And we also have a dedicated left and right turn lane to help prevent backup on the site as well.
Any other questions?
What do you expect, like, the amount of people coming in on a daily basis?
So, they do anticipate, I don't have the exact numbers, and I'm not sure who's on virtual leave from Tsunami, if anybody, but they do anticipate about 200 to 400 customers per day. But they have, the way that their business model is set up is they try to get every customer, quote, curb to curb, which is enter site, exit site, unless they're vacuuming, in under 5 minutes. So their service is much quicker than their competition. So even though they're servicing quite a few more people, they are far more efficient in getting people in and out.
Move approval.
Second. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anything opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll move on to items 3A and 3B.
Is anyone here for Southtown? Panera? Move quickly. So well, this is Southtown Shopping Center in 1983. It's undergone a number of changes over time. And lately, in what was once Southtown Auto, they've since moved to the north end of this shopping center. Panera Bread is interested in a 2,500 square foot portion of this outbuilding on a separate property, but within the Southtown campus. So this is the property we're talking about. This is Highway 100. It's a 5,000 square foot building here. Panera is interested in 2,500 square feet. The zoning is C4. And conditional uses are required for restaurants when they're over 2,000 feet. So that's why we're going through this process with them. It's going to be a fast casual cafe-style dining, no drive-through, but prepackaged foods and warm before serving. They will have 23 indoor, customer carry and carry-out options, but no alcohol is proposed. So no drive-up window and no outdoor seating has been proposed, despite some staff encouragement from staff. Hours of operation 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. That's the proposal. That's the general area where Starbucks will be. This is looking at the building from the north. I'm sorry, Panera. Similar but not the same. No, just another view. And then the floor plan. So this will be the first of its type in Wisconsin. We have one other underway as well, I believe, but orders are placed, for in the bakery queuing area, picked up, where beverages are typically. But everything in yellow here is the public-facing side of the retail store with the indoor dining, the cold beverages along this area here, and then you have another little stand-up table here, but the service counter is here, and everything in gray is back of house, the kitchen, freezer area, storage, and bakery services here. There's an additional tenant space, 1,000 square foot tenant space being created sort of as a result of the changes here with Panera, and then this is an existing, I believe, insurance company back here, 1,000 square feet. The site plan, they do have 9 parking stalls on the property, but there's a considerable amount of shared parking with the Southtown Shopping Center. They do show 2 options for bicycle racks. One in the very back, behind the refuse dumpster, which is not recommended. It's just too hidden, out of sight. Another one on this sort of walkway that comes across from the other shopping center over here. It's the better of the 2 options, but staff is actually suggesting maybe considering another, maybe a dedicated location closer, maybe near the sign and south of the ADA striping aisle is a perhaps a better option out in this area here. That way, this preserves this as a walkway up to the door, which would be over on the north side of the building. Panera is proposing a connection to the city sidewalk. There'd be a ramp or a small staircase here, which is similar to what they've done in front of Krispy Kreme Donuts further down the way. And then a poured curb will replace wheel stops in this area here. There's a damaged fence back here, and that's going to be replaced, and they're going to be installing a guardrail further back. And the refuse area will be cleaned up. There's some effervescence on the brick that'll be cleaned up and maintained accordingly. There's just some pictures of the area where they're proposing one of the bike rack up here. We're suggesting maybe flipping it over here. And then wheel stops currently along Highway 100, those will be replaced with a poured curb and then a small little ramp or walkway down to the sidewalk. This is the effervescence on the refuse enclosure, which will clean up and improve. And then there's a damaged fence behind here, which will be removed completely, and a guardrail installed. It should be a cleaner look, a better aesthetic for the overall. And then the elevations are really not doing much in the exterior other than some updated exterior paint up above and new signage. The awnings will remain, and same on the north elevation. And that's they're going to repaint this north wall here. And that's I didn't put a recommendation slide in, but if you refer to your staff report, we have a recommendation in there. We're recommending approval. They've taken care of really all of the conditions. All of the conditions I think we have in there have been satisfied. The one thing I think we have to work out is the proper, best location for that bike rack. We think it's best out in front of the building, near an entrance ideally, but maybe not in the walkway, because that walkway is fairly narrow. And if you put bikes there, it just sort of limits people's mobility to use that walkway. So we think that one spot out in front near the sign might be best. I believe we have somebody on the line with Panera, or maybe Dale Dobroff with Sidcor Real Estate, but if there's any comments, if there's any clarifications you'd like to make, we're open to discussion.
I move approval.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
I just had a question. What's the expected opening date for this Panera?
They hope to open in the end of the year. I think they want to start construction in June, and they'll be finished by December. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the staff report,
Yeah.
that's why I asked, yeah.
I know I missed last month's meeting,
Sure.
but why were they opposed to outdoor seating space or?
They were I guess the Panera apparently doesn't do that with this new model they're talking about here. And the other part of it was, I guess it's not impossible, it is possible, it could be done, but, you know, in this area, it would impede some of the flow of traffic, which, I mean, honestly, there's plenty of other options to come down another aisle and then, you know, access things. There's really no shortage of parking out here, but, you know, they weren't, I guess they're not planning on using it or operating it for outdoor dining. I mean, in other words, I guess Plan Commission could require that, I mean, but it may go unused. And I'm not sure if anyone's on the line from Panera, if we have any, I hope they're not muted, but.
You see who's on the line, Jim?
Yeah. I think it was somebody from Redmond.
Okay.
And I'm not recommending it, I'm just
Yeah.
curious whether it didn't want
Yeah, they said with their new model, I know there's definitely Paneras out there around us with their cafes that offer outdoor dining. However, I think this is sort of a smaller, fast casual version of their typical store. And they're just focusing on the walk-ins, you know, quick sit-downs and or probably more so the carry-outs than they are the stay in place a little bit longer and enjoy. Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Items 3A and B are approved, motion carries. Thank you. And then we'll go to item 4. Village staff.
Do we have anyone in the audience from representing U-Haul? If not, I suggest we skip this for now and come back to it and just go to something that will show the next item.
Yep, we'll move on to items 5A and.
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yeah.
Steve, even if U-Haul comes back and meets the plan department's, accommodates your recommendations as outlined on page 3, this seems like this is a gateway to our city, Highway 100. And it seems to me there's got to be a better use for this area. Just an observation. That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll go to 5A.
Thanks, Mayor. 5A, we have Mian Oil Company and Equity Construction here, represented Mian, number 5, the gas station proposed at 8404 Greenfield. This site was approved for conditional use with a gas station and convenience store a few years ago, back in 2020 and 2021. I went through the process, received conditional approval, however, the owner never moved forward. I think costs increased and interest rates increased, and he just pulled back the reins, decided to put the building up for sale. The Oil Company has purchased the property and is interested in developing, you know, changing the appearance, obviously appearance from a vacant service station to a new gas and convenience store. The property is one property. It includes what used to be a home, a separate lot used to be here, but that's been all consolidated via CSM in the past as part of previous proposal. along with that of the gas station. So it's one about 0.6 acre, about half acre site at the corner of 84th and Greenfield. This is the general layout proposed, really in a similar, the building being proposed in a similar location to the current SF analyzers, but a new building and a new canopy being added here at the corner. This is the site plan. It's a 3,000 square foot building. It is set back about 50 feet from 84th Street, roughly in the similar footprint as existing, and then a new canopy proposed here, and landscaping around the frontage and the west perimeter of the site. A new retaining wall being added here along the north side of the property in the refuse area further back here. That'll feature, wood board-on-board style of fence with a gate, and the different variety of landscaping proposed around the site. A sign is proposed, new freestanding sign proposed in the corner. It is in the vision angle, but in the past, the Plan Commission has granted variances for signs within the vision angle because it can be proved that it's not going to be an obstruction to view. Something that would have to happen here, I think, with this one, just to follow past precedent, would be for the sign to be placed on maybe a 45 in this orientation. That way, when somebody's pulling up, they can still see across visibly to make people when they make their turns, just for a safety thing. But aside from that, they do have a small number of parking stalls on the west side of the site, and they are, I believe, proposing a walk-up connection here, just not shown on the plan, to the front door of the building, which is here. Staff has recommended an alternate consideration. However, after a meeting earlier this week with the alderpersons of the district and the Meon Oil Company, there were some reasons that were expressed from Meon Oil and from the alderpersons that, I guess not that they oppose this look. The alderperson didn't oppose this layout, but I think from some operational reasons that Meon could probably explain better than I. But with the canopy in the busier side of the business being on the back side or north side of the building, noise, light, and just general activity back here closer to the neighborhood was one of the concerns. You could definitely provide some additional screening on the west and north sides with a fence or landscaping, and then just shift that driveway a little further north here. But at the end of the day, I guess the third district alderpersons felt that this was maybe pushing it a little too much for a half-acre site, which is fairly small, and given the proximity to residential, which is immediately west and then immediately north, here and here. So those are the concerns. And then on the past proposal back in 2020 and 2021, neighbors from around the area did come out and were very concerned about, even a layout like this with noise and operations and liquor sales and so on. But so this operation will not include liquor sales. In this case, they're proposing this layout as their preferred. We did offer this for consideration, but after speaking with alderpersons in Meon, they didn't agree with this layout. This is just the public hearing map that's gone out. Just shows the location of the store and then the surroundings that have been contacted for the public hearing purposes. And this is the proposed layout within the buildings: the front door, an employee area, service counter here, and then employee back of house room. And you have walk-in coolers and freezers here, an office area, storage room. So this is kind of the back of house that faces, the next lot over, which is residential. I think that's one of the other reasons they had mentioned this would face, the back of house here would face the intersection of 84th and Greenfield if it were in that alternate layout. And it's not impossible, and it does pose some design challenges with, the storefront facing inward towards the pumps and not the intersection, which we typically would encourage. In terms of architecture, the exterior is featuring glass, different types of block, brick, masonry, fabric awnings, and then a cap above. The ephes, we're recommending the ephes be changed to an alternate material, and then that north elevation. And I apologize, guys, if you've uploaded something new for show. I didn't get it in this presentation, but I know we had met the other day about the staff's comment about four-sided architecture, and I think we came up with a proposal that we can work with that basically takes this proportion right here and mimics it on the north side of the building, and then carries through some basics just to sort of give that resemblance of, it's not just the back side of a building. It is important on that north side. And then just a view on 84th Street as you're going southbound. So 84th is a busy street. It is a gateway into the city, and so we feel that north side of the building is important. And that's the reason for that additional architectural improvement on the north side. And then the east and west elevations. This is the east side facing 84th, and this is the west side facing west apartments. So the proposed design guidelines and our staff recommendation. Basically, we're recommending approval subject to the conditions in the staff report here. A number of things here that we've worked on. I guess the considerations of alternate building layouts. That's for, I guess, Plan Commission's discussion this evening, and Jan is here, and their designers are here to discuss that further, if you wish. And the four-sided architecture, which we're working through with Mian and Khalid. And then the ephes, just eliminating ephes. I know there's a very small amount proposed, but I think there's other materials that can be proposed outside of ephes. The design guidelines are pretty clear on the ephes, just don't do it. And then additional, I guess, landscaping and screening just along the north side on that empty lot that used to be residential, just ensuring that, the driveways are going to come up, the building's going to come down, it'll be a grass lot, but perhaps there's some additional tree or something could be added on that north side just to sort of soften that edge a bit. And the other stuff is fairly standard with respect to driveway documentation on stormwater compliance and then signage. This would go before Common Council on May 21st.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission? Wayne?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve, given that the older person's against this, is that correct?
Well, they weren't opposed, they didn't like they weren't opposed to staff's layout, but they feel it's going to create concerns for the neighborhood surrounding here.
And there's some history that the neighborhood has raised issues at an earlier time. We'll probably raise it again.
Yeah.
Where does that leave your department? Are you in favor of moving this forward as is?
We understand the issues that could be caused with, on the back side of this. There could be additional screening, there could be additional wall or fence that could help, but it's still going to be a very busy area. If somebody's pumping gas here with their car stereo on or engine idling or a little noise in the activity center of a gas station, that can be an issue. If it were a bigger site, I think it may be more feasible. It's only a half an acre, and I think that brings some issue. But then again, it is a major intersection, and it sees a lot of pedestrian traffic throughout the year, especially in the summer.
So are you in favor or against?
I like this layout, but
And
again...
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
From an appearance standpoint,
Sure.
a big improvement, but I'm getting so many mixed messages. We got an older person that's against it.
Two of them.
Oh, both of them. They ganged up. And then we have a history of some neighbors expressing concerns. And where does that put this?
It puts it in your lap. Yeah. I mean, we are, David.
To clarify though, the older people are not opposed to the project.
Correct.
They're opposed to the staff change.
They felt that the original layout was more appropriate.
In this situation, they are opting, they want this layout. They feel that this building creates a wall, a better separation to the north, and this area over here could be. We'll have some landscaping, and we can work on the type of landscaping, ensure like a year-round color and screening, that type of thing.
And I know it's Greenfield, but any other gas stations that have the pumps in the back?
There are, the one
more than-
example that we had talked about is on Blue Mountain Road and Moreland. And you have across from Brookfield Square, and there's
Oh,
a
that
shop,
one.
part of a shopping center.
Yeah, no, I know which one you're talking about there, yeah.
Yeah.
But they got a bigger,
It's an acre,
Area
it's an acre, at least an acre.
play with though,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Neighbors are further away.
Yeah.
But Steve, you mentioned it'd be nice if this was a bigger site.
Yeah,
You can't just make it bigger,
we can't.
because it's just this size.
We'd have to buy it from Mr. Mian here and then buy other properties, right? Yeah, it would take more assembly of land, and I don't think that's in the cards from the city's perspective.
So typically, when both older people from the particular district are opposed to something, what happens?
Well, I mean, it's something that, when we shared this concept with the team here, you know, they resisted. They had an issue with this, and they spelled out the reasons why. You know, safety, noise, lighting. Typically, the busy part of the gas station back here is noisy, and they're trying to avoid neighbor complaints. And they also have a feeling that, you know, there's certain aspects of this that will block the view of the gas station. They're worried it won't look like a gas station, and they won't make money, or as much money as they would in their desired layout. So they have business reasons for that as well. And then the design reasons would be, you know, this being the back of house, that the coolers and it's sort of windowless per their floor plan. And this is the customer entrance. It presents a design challenge. I mean, certainly we've got a qualified design team here, but you're not going to have real windows. You're going to have spandrel glass and masonry.
So that's the back end to Greenfield.
Right. That's the one
Okay.
drawback, or I guess flip. I guess let me find my floor plan here. But so in this situation, if you can imagine, right now this is the orientation. You know, with Greenfield Avenue to the south here, and 84th over to the right. If you were just to flip this 180, now this side faces Greenfield Avenue and this side faces 84th Street. You can see this office. You know, you might get a window or something, but I mean it's really going to be minimal. 0 windows on the exterior, because you've got coolers and freezers and employee areas, service areas, or office and storage. So it's just given the size of the store, the size of the site, you know, they're trying to accommodate a lot of dollars per square foot, you know, within the building. And if you start minimizing some of this stuff, you start taking doors out of the coolers for windows or glass, it changes the business, and you know, to try to get the look, to face the street as well as the customer side facing the pumps on the back side. But it begins to get challenging, and then from what I hear from the Mian Oil Company, it's just challenging from a business side of things, as well as Cleek's point of view, it becomes challenging on the design side. Now, if the site was larger, if the building were maybe larger, maybe you could do some different things, but
it's not.
But this is what's been proposed, and this is what is in their budget.
Mr. Mayor, as our mayor and as the chair of this august body, what's your opinion?
I appoint you all for a reason. No, I think this is a very busy intersection. One thing that I don't think was mentioned is just with the layout there, from a, not that it's an unsafe neighborhood, but from a security, safety perspective, it's a lot easier for traffic to see right into people pumping their gas and walking in and out purchasing. So that's another factor that I think is important, but I wasn't not able to make the meeting Monday because I had conflicts, but, and I mean, you commissioners all know that you can say one thing and then the council can just do what they want anyway, so, you know, but the 2 aldermen were at the meeting and they did, you know, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but go over the details with the group, and I can live with this, I guess, to give you a short answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said, I think they did a good job with the architecture. The design looks nice, and it's gonna be a big improvement over what's there right now. Right now, we've got a vacant building that's dated with pumps out in front, and this is gonna be a big upgrade, so I could support this. I don't.
Is the retail space just gonna be standard convenience store type of merchandise?
Yep, just no liquor.
No liquor, just beer?
That's it, yep.
Okay.
Or no beer?
No beer either?
Oh, no alcohol, no alcohol.
Okay.
No alcohol.
Okay.
I would move to approve. The only stipulation I would have then would be the sign in the front. Have it at a 45 degree instead of this way. Because I know
Right.
there's just no way that people are going to be able to look around that. I drive that 5 times a day. And it already gets pretty backed up at some point, and having something there I just don't think it would work.
I don't know if
That's
it
my
was
own
in-
personal opinion.
I don't know if it was in staff comments, but obviously revising the north elevation, which you've already talked about, I think would be a condition of approval.
Can be higher, can be higher, we can go like 20 feet or 25 feet high.
Oh, on the height of the wall? On the north side?
No, where
You
is
mean the sign?
Sign?
Yeah, sign we're talking, where
To be
is-
high? Yeah, I think we want.
Monument.
Yeah.
It's the monument sign.
Yeah, we have a limitation of 10 feet for monument signs.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So Steve, you'll bring back the rejection notice to the council?
Thank you, guys. See ya. All right, now we'll move on to item 6. Thanks.
Eric is here, the property owner, for a proposed, it's an empty lot on the 1700 block of 60th Street, and he submitted a site and landscaping or site and architectural plan for a new home. And this is the lot, it's in between 2 other homes on the east side of 60th, it's zone RV2. And RV2 does allow for a range of different styles of homes, everything from a single unit dwelling down to multi-unit dwellings, as you can see along the east side of 60th Street here. This is the lot. And this is the proposed, initially, this is what I'm showing you here, I guess, is the initial, and we're going to get to the very end, we got revised plans, so I'll show you that, for the evolution of this. So this is what was originally planned, and this is sort of a concept that was proposed, and then the general floor plan living arrangement with the front door to the property being on the south side of the building. It's about 960 square feet. And there were a number of things that, in working with this and trying to look at the context of the neighborhood that we shared with Eric, we had met and gone over a number of these things about maybe adding a front porch, or at least the appearance of a front porch, maybe changing the door orientation from the side of the building to the front of the building, some roof gable alternates, and maybe an alternate to some different types of siding, and then window trims, doors, and so on. But and then in terms of the basement area will be a full basement underneath this, so another 960 square feet underneath, with enough ceiling height to potentially in the future expand for a livable area, at least in part of the basement in the future, which is good planning for the future. Increasing family sizes and so on. And this is the east side of, or is this the west side? No, it's further down, east side of 60th Street. Yeah, just sort of the front porch look. You've got a mix of different, 2-story, 1.5 stories, and on the west side, you've got sort of a similar, 2-story, 3-story, 1-story. Eclectic mix, but there are some common themes. Front doors, front porches seem to be a common thing. And just on the other side of the block as well. And this is the initial elevation that was proposed, and in working with Eric, he's proposed some variations. Now he's done these himself, because when you go back to an architect, sorry to offend any architects in the room, but it does cost some money, to revise things. So, but what we wanted to show here is some just general concepts, and then depending on the concept that's chosen this evening, or at least some directives that are prepared, staff is asking you to just sort of provide some directives of what you think is appropriate for this new home build, and then with that, those directives we'll work with Eric on that, and he'll go back to his architect and get actual construction drawings done and forwarded for the building permit process. So the variations shown here are, again, a one-story building, 960 square feet with a basement, and a gabled roof with updated trim work, overhangs, an increased amount of overhangs in not only the sides, but also potentially on the front. So we've got option 1 with a front door. This is option 2 without a front door and just the side entrance. Option 3, again, 2 windows, no front door, but at the side door, and then a little bit of a front overhang, which resembles some of the other homes in the area with a overhanging front porch, and then you'd have a patio or something underneath that. So those are the 3, option 1, 2, or 3. The thinking with the side door, there'd be a setback of 3 feet on one side and 3.6 feet on the other side, and then the idea was with the detached garage being here, when you park your car and you walk in from your garage with groceries or whatever, Eric was thinking, to have the door somewhere on the side where it's just easier to access. It's a quicker into the building versus coming out to the front and in to the front door. So I suppose depending on the layout of the thing, you could potentially you could still possibly have a side door, a rear door, and a front door, but it was staff's preference, I guess, just from looking at the other homes in the area, that having at least a front door and/or some kind of form of a roof overhang, like whether we call this a hip or a shed overhang on the front with some kind of patio underneath or some kind of stoop was most fitting for the neighborhood, rather than just 2 windows and no look of a front door or porch. Eric's here to explain his rationale as well. I mean, he's got a good point. He can build a house, and he'll go back to his designer with the director for Plan Commission. But I just wanted to open it up for discussion, and Eric's here as well to share any info on his behalf.
I like option 1. I mean, with the door, if we're taking, I think that looks appropriate in my opinion.
I agree with staff's recommendation of either the combination of 1 and 3, I think would be nice, because a lot of the pictures that you showed on 60th had some sort of a porch element or some sort of roof feature that came off of the building. So I think if you could put the front door under that on option 3, I think that would.
Or something like combination of like this and that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eric, any thoughts on that, or what do you think?
Yeah, the only initial plan, sorry for the whole T111 siding and all that, that's a stock plan. And so that was never the intention to be sided with. It was intended to be sided with LP shake on the gable peaks, white trim, dark blue, white trim, no shutters, more modern looking, and then a light gray roof. The side entrance and the orientation of having the kitchen and the living room to the back was more to gear towards families, where when your kids are out back playing in the backyard, you want them visible. And so then some field alterations were going to be made where some windows would have been on that gable end to the back and maybe a patio door, so that visibility was there for families. But if the commission says that you want the front door, we'll just flip the whole orientation 180 degrees and put the living room and kitchen to the front and go that route. But it was more geared towards people with families, because this is a 3-bedroom home. If it wasn't geared towards family, it'd be a 2-bedroom home with bigger bedrooms.
So you would take this and you would take the living room and the kitchen, then would move to the front side?
Yes, if
And then
the
you'd
front
have
door
the-
needs to be on 60th,
Okay, yep.
the orientation of the home would have to flip, where the kitchen and the living room would be facing 60th, which in my mind, as a family, I have kids and I have a family, if I was living in this home, I would prefer the side entrance, and I have friends who have this similar layout. I would prefer to go back to my garage rather than have to walk all the way around the house for the garage, but it's flexible. Looking to build an affordable home in West Dallas, entry-level home,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but we have,
Is there another place you could, if you switch it, can you put the door in the back in another place, or does that come into a bedroom then?
yeah, exactly, it would come into a bedroom. And the plans that I had looked at that involved having a front entryway with the bedrooms towards the front, ended up with a terrible long hallway that just would not show well, and then also just ate up bedroom space, because you're already dealing with a constriction with the lot, on size. Ultimately, this is as close, because in talking to my architect who did sign off on this, budget reasons, it had to be a stock plan over a custom plan.
Sure.
Because if I had a custom plan, I could have met more criteria, front entrance and stuff, but because of trying to hit the neighborhood's price range, we gotta deal with more of a budget-friendly plans.
So do we need to form that into a motion? Who wants to take a crack at it?
I'll move whatever motion it is.
Well, it was started with Eric.
The one that was.
Yeah, I think we started with what, a combo of like one and three. One and three, I think is, yeah, I think that having the door in the front, I just feel it keeps in with the context of the neighborhood, and it's just my opinion.
I agree. I understand the constraints of the site and having the sight lines to the backyard, but I think it presents better to have a front door on 60th.
Yeah.
I gotta agree, yeah.
So was that a motion in a second?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve pending design changes to get a door fronting onto 60th Street based on either option 1 or 3 or a combination of those.
Second.
All right.
Yeah, I like that.
Motion in the history.
Yeah, that was.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, and motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7A and 7B.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for Mayo Medical Massage. They are, one second. They're proposed to be located in an existing multi-tenant commercial building at 8831 West Greenfield Avenue. They will occupy one suite. They are massage therapy use, and they will be by appointment only for their hours, but they will not be operating later than 8 p.m. No site changes are planned for the overall site. This is the floor plan for the one suite massage tenant. The massage room is located in the back, and then this is the front entrance to that. Located in there will be a desk along with just other office space materials and configurations, and then there's one closet. We do have a recommendation for approval of the conditional use permit and the site landscaping plans for my own Revelation Medical Massage. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
It's like when massage parlors or units like this have come up in the past, I think it was, some of the criteria was you had to have the security cameras, books, in case an audit at any time. Would that still also apply in this?
Yeah, that's correct. So for condition number 2, that will require the maintenance of customer appointments.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry. I should
Sorry.
have said that. And then they will be required to install cameras in the customer lobby area.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Move on to item 9.
This is a alley vacation on the 54th and Electric, between Electric and Mobile Street, which is to the north. But on the west side of 54th, there is an old alley that runs east and west. It's about 115 feet long, about 14 or so feet wide. And the city engineer would like to vacate this. It's no longer used by our sanitation department for sanitation service. It used to be an L-shaped alley, and then at one point, this portion here, this 21-foot wide portion was added here, so that it sort of, this part became obsolete. So we're interested in vacating this. We want to bring it before the planning commission as part of the process to get your input and direction, and then we'll refer that to the city council for a public hearing on June 11th. There'll be a series of public notices, and property owners within the area will be notified. They can object if they wish, but it takes a majority vote from the council to actually make, pass the motion to vacate this.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, motion, there's a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Almost. We'll go to item 10.
Thanks.
Liberty Heights Pavilion.
Thanks, Mayor. Liberty Heights Park, Orchard, 61st and Orchard, is a highly programmed and active park within the Liberty Heights and East Alice neighborhood. And what is proposed is an updated pavilion. This is the pavilion that dates back to 1930s, maybe a little earlier, but it's been around for some time and it's served us well, but it's time to update it. Given all the programming and the different meal programs that are operated out here, as well as just neighborhood activities, a new pavilion is proposed. It would be in the same general footprint of the existing, and similar in area. It would feature, it wouldn't affect any site operations in the park, but would help in the overall function and programming. New concrete would be added around the exterior areas of the park. It would be ADA accessible, which is a challenge right now with the existing pavilion. It's been built up sort of at a higher elevation with steps. And there is a ramp, of course, but it poses some limitations for accessibility. The two primary areas here are the indoor portion, which will feature a prep serving room area, office areas, storage areas, a mechanical storage room, a mechanical area, and 4 fixtures, bathroom areas. 2 or 3 accessible from the outdoor area for public use, and then 1 for the indoor. When you have an indoor event, this would be more dedicated for people of that event. These will all be, the exterior ones especially, will be functioning on a timer, so after designated hours of park use, they could be locked to prevent vandalism overnight and so on. The other portion of this is going to be the outdoor area of the shelter. You could have some seating and be more of a flexible space outside for quick access, in and out on nicer days. But overall, this is the glass garage doors, I guess, are an option on this, where you would have, potentially some of this outdoor area could feature glass garage doors that would come up. That's an option depending on the cost. I mean, this project will be on a tight budget, as we're using a limited amount of funds to get this done, and we'll be going through a bidding process to get bids, but we expect it to be over $1 million to construct this. Just some views. The exterior views of what the Hardy or LP style of engineered wood lap siding, stone veneer base, gable features in the roof, a metal standing seam roof, and then stone veneer, I believe, columns on the building. It would mimic more or less the surrounding residential context of the area. Just a closer view. I believe we have Blake on the line from Architecture. Blake, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. Blake, is there anything you want to share that maybe I didn't clarify or cover?
You did a great job. Just a couple of additions here. So the stone around the base of the building is going to be the same material that the existing pavilion is covered with. We looked at trying to reuse some of that stone material, and it's just cost prohibitive. So we are planning to source a veneer that is of the same variety, so that it will still pay a little tribute to the existing historic building.
Thank you.
We have, the other thing I should mention, we did run it through the Historical Society, given that it's a fairly old building, and we did get their approval for removing the building after we showed them the deficits and problems of the existing structure. So that has all been cleared.
Thank you. Thank you.
Questions? Wade?
Mr. Mayor, Steve, what is the source of the $1 million funding?
We're going to be using some community development money, block grant money. And we're going to be doing a substantial amendment to take some of the unprogrammed money from other projects that haven't used that money and then move it to the Liberty Heights Pavilion project. And that would require coming council action at an upcoming council meeting expected maybe May 21st.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Blake, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blake. Item 11?
Thank you, Mayor. Item 11 is for a preliminary site landscaping architectural design review for North Shore Bank, currently located in a three-story building occupied by the flagship North Shore Bank and a few other tenants. They're proposing a new branch location to serve North Shore Bank on the existing parking lot for the parcel. Banks are a permitted use, but the accessory drive-through requires a conditional use permit. The hours of operation are for the ATM will be 24/7 access. Video tellers for the ITM will be open relatively, will be open each day of the week, different hours varying. And then the branch itself will be open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and Friday 9 to 6 p.m. and then Saturday 9 to 12 p.m. The proposed site plan for this is to take that existing North Shore Bank and add an additional building onto the current lot. No changes are proposed to the existing building on the site. One thing to note within the code, we do not allow two principal buildings proposed on one lot. This will require either a planned development to provide flexibility in the zoning code, or else split the lot via CSM. This is something that staff is going to work with, determining which option would be best for the site given the needed cross-access on the site itself. Overall, there's 29 parking stalls shown. This is a reduction from the 38 existing on the site. Access would be provided via Wildwood Drive and West National Avenue. On the site itself, there's parking shown in the center, and then there is also that ATM/ITM drive lane, and then this connects and feeds out to National Avenue, and entrances are along Wildwood Avenue. There's a pedestrian connection for pedestrian access to the building itself, and then the trash enclosure is found on the rear, along with a transformer. This is enclosed in a enclosure. The architectural plan shows a pretty high quality building with materials that match our design review guidelines, consisting of masonry, stone, and fiber cement paneling. There's an abundance of glazing shown on the building. There's a huge glass facade on that north facade that wraps around to the east and west portions of the building. Here's the rear of the building showing the ITM canopy, ATM canopy that will have access to people and vehicles. Overall, this project complies greatly with our design review guidelines. They meet all applicable design review guidelines, and really want to emphasize the great work the team has done so far on this project.
Thank you. We've got David Kane and Ryan Schmitz here representing the, David's with North Shore and Ryan's with design.
And this is just a preliminary project, so there's no motion, no recommendations for this action tonight. We just want to discuss if there's anything that Plan Commission would like to highlight or else guide the development team in.
Looks interesting.
Can you go back to the site plan?
The second building, that's gonna be then the banking? That's
Yeah,
all, so
that's
what's gonna
correct.
happen, and what's going on with the other building then?
North Shore would like to speak on that.
Oh, right. So, well, the plan, once we become operational, would be to sell that building. So he's right, we probably would need some sort of separation of lots.
CSM separation, okay. So you're gonna sell the building there, okay. Are there tenants in there right now?
Yes, it's about 70% occupied, and the one tenant on the first floor actually wants one. So
Okay.
it might be beneficial.
So this is, I just want to say it's also part of the intent of our updated zoning ordinance with maximum parking requirements by not requiring tons of parking just for the sake of having a bunch of parking. It does also, I'm not sure that North Shore was thinking about this, but it does sort of play to that intent of whatever zoning ordinance is trying to do, create more taxable value within the city. And if we have, if we don't have minimum parking requirements, we have maximums instead of minimums, it does promote this type of change for more brick and mortar, more buildings, more taxable value, in this case in the corner of National and Wildwood.
Do you have an existing site, like what it looks like now? Are we changing the curb cuts? No, the curb cuts are staying where they are? No.
So National Avenue right here is proposed to be reconstructed in the next couple of years, but they are proposing to shift this curb cut, I believe, further east. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. Further away from the intersection.
So that's that complies with our engineering team's guidelines on curb cuts, and then right here, I believe this is remaining the same.
Mr. Mayor, to the applicants, if everything goes well and you can continue to be on your time frame, when do you hope to have this operational? This year?
I don't think we'd be able to get it this year, but it would be 2025, early 26 at latest.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks very much.
Do you guys have any?
Nope, just we wanted to get in front of you, show you the design, solicit any comments, trying to head off any potential roadblocks or obstacles in the future when we present this for action.
Good.
So, thank you.
The building looks nice, the architecture looks nice. I think everything looks good.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to item 12.
Thank you, Mayor.
Twisted plans?
Oh, you did? It's a pun.
Minor jokes.
Planter jokes.
So this is for Twisted Plants, proposed to be located at 6202 West Lincoln Avenue. 2 wall signs are proposed for the building. This is going before Plan Commission because they're proposing to do painted wall signs, which cannot be approved by staff. They total 15 square feet, each are 15 square feet, and they comply with our size requirements per the zoning code. Based on the proposed sign plan, staff are recommending approval of the signage plan for Twisted Plants.
I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm. Move to approve.
Second.
I'll third it.
We can go all the way up to a fifth.
Yeah, we could.
All right, if there's no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved. Are we still holding an item?
I think we should take item 4 up and take action on it.
Okay.
It's been, U-Haul has submitted late last year, in December of last year, and staff has been working on this. Council offered a variance and granted a variance on the 2 properties here that U-Haul currently owns at 800 South 108th as well as 924 South 108th. Basically a use variance, which despite this being zoned commercial C3, they granted the use variance to allow U-Haul's operations here. It's sort of a long story, but so just, I guess these two sites have the use variance. This one, which U-Haul does not own, but I think is going to use and make some improvements on, they don't have a use variance. So there's a number of things going on here that just don't fit our Highway 100 corridor plan or our city's comprehensive plan. As Wayne mentioned before, this is a gateway corridor through our city, into and out of, through our city, through Milwaukee County for that matter, and we want it to look really good. We understand that U-Haul owns the two properties here at 800 and 924, and they're proposing some significant changes on both, on the exterior, some site alterations as well on all three. So what they're doing, they're taking a vacant property in many respects, and they're doing a little, but again, it's not enough in staff's opinion, and we can do much better. I think U-Haul's done a number of examples around the country, some of which we've shared with them, but they're hard and fast just pushing for what they propose and what they feel is appropriate here for West Dallas. Just some different views here, and then this was their February submittal. Just I guess the fake garage doors facing Highway 100 in several different areas. Fake garage doors on the north elevation, the old Hobo entrance. And then the submittal in April, again, they still have fake garage doors, and they've got other, I think these are real windows. I'm not sure if these are real windows or murals. So they lack detail in their explanation. They're showing a colorized elevation here, but they're not showing the architectural details that we need to better understand exactly what's going on. We're not sure if these are transparent windows or non-transparent. It looks like they might have a little bit of an overhang or an awning over them in some cases. These look like large murals on the building, another large mural. There's a lot of very circus stuff going on here that, obviously there's some branding, but there's some other examples that I'll show you one from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and we've got some other examples from Nashville, Tennessee, which just, this is not the direction we want to go.
Steve, I think we all share your frustration. I move to deny.
I second that.
Thank you. But yeah, in terms of site plan.
Want to show Tennessee because you drove all the way
Sure,
down?
I drove to Tennessee.
You're voting off.
Yeah. So this is on the 924 site. They're going to demolish this front building here, and they want to put up a new self-storage building.
That tower, right?
Yeah, this thing here. This was their February submittal, and then it changed a little bit in April to this. Not significant changes. They added maybe a little bit more glass on the end cap here, but it's largely a blank exterior metal paneled foam core wall thing. So they moved the building a bit closer to Highway 100 per the zoning ordinance requirements. But again, when you compare that to, well, don't compare it to their headquarters, their billion-dollar headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona, but maybe instead compare it to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which it kind of looks like a hotel when you think about it. But it's not. It wasn't even a hotel in its past. This just popped up in the past 4 years, brand new construction, different window types. Sure, they've got their faux garage doors, but they're behind the storefront glasses. And they've got a different type of window here with a small canopied awning over it. Projections, articulation, different roof lines on the building, brick elements on the building, as well as metal panels. So it leaves a lot to be desired here in our West Dallas version here. So, just saying.
Again, I'm sorry if I can make a comment.
Go ahead.
We're coming into the city, we have all these stores, all these small shops on one side, and they're gonna see U-Haul. Half a block, a full block down on the other side. And then it's gonna go to small shop. All the other storage units, places we have, I think are stuck away from the street, even if they've rose up higher or anything like that. I personally don't see self-storage being in the front, right there, this huge place where people are gonna start driving into the city and go, oh, hey, look, West Dallas, we can put our storage here. Not West Dallas, look at all the cool things we have. my opinion. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I've shared the same frustrations because there's so many people that drive up and down that highway coming in and out of the city. It's just such an important corridor, and I think that we should definitely strive to do better with this.
Thank you. All right, there is a motion. I don't know if you want to.
Sure, I would just, our motion is to deny, and we, you know, it's not that we will not, I guess, we can't prevent U-Haul from coming here. They have that use variance, they have, you know, the entitlement, I guess, to locate here and do the things they want to do, but it's the design aesthetic that we're really pushing hard on, and we really want to see better elements to meet our design, our Highway 100 corridor, our comprehensive plan, and our Highway 100 corridor, or our design guidelines. And we just haven't had that feedback from U-Haul. The communications have been pretty sparse. We offer things and we get something back, but it's still not there yet. So I think we have to say no, we have to reject this, and then plan again with them in the future.
Mayor Devine, if I could.
Yeah.
So for over 4 decades, I was a small businessman in this community, and for the last 20 years, I've been an alderman. And I'd like to applaud all you guys for the work, for the vision here and the comments made. It was a frustrating day for me when I was an alderman when the variance was granted by the council to allow them to come in, because I don't see this use. We just had Twisted Plants with a cool looking sign that fits within our rules. Okay, the square footage and all that. We have thousands of businesses. They would love to put giant garish signs on their buildings. I know as alderman, I had that repeatedly. Oh, Marty, how come I can't do this? Well, you know, we got rules, you know. I mean, we do for a reason. You want the guy across the street to do the same thing? I won't mention my 2 bars and restaurants across the street from each other. You know, one guy wanted to put more signs up, and I had to tell the other guy, you can't, you know, you guys are both at your limits here, you know. So we have these rules for a reason. Yeah, I'd love to see another use there, but we definitely have to hold these guys' feet to the fire on something that looks nice. That Tennessee building is, I'm not even a fan of all those windows where they put in the windows and they essentially put their signs behind the windows, you know. How many square feet of signage are they allowed on a building under our current rules?
Well, this being a separate site, I mean, this one would probably get around, I think, 125 square feet of signage. Total, because it's a 17,000 square foot building. I think it's all one floor. I don't know that there's separate floors in here. I mean, they make it look like 3 floors, but I think it's only 17,500 square feet. So if that's the case, it's only allowed 125 square feet. If it's more than that, if it goes over 25,000, they would get some additional signage area, probably around 200 square feet. But we've got some signage things to work out too, not only on this site, but the other 2 as well. There's pole signs that have to be removed to be brought into compliance. And the other building here north has got...
Yeah, there's signs all the way down the south elevation.
A lot of signs on that building, so there's just too much going on in each elevation of that building.
I think your upper image, it would be a huge improvement. I mean, if they could do something that has a little bit more design to it. And even on the existing building, I mean, it looks like just a hodgepodge of different things they threw on there to try and, you know, get it passed, but it doesn't, it's not a cohesive, you know, package. And I think if they're going to propose both of these, they should go together. Whatever they're doing on the one building, they should be mimicking the architecture and the design elements on 2 of them, so it looks like they go together at least.
I would also ask if we can restrict where they park their, because every one of their vehicles is a billboard also.
Yeah.
It's one thing if a vehicle is being picked up or dropped off by a customer, but I think this, if there's a way to do it, I don't know if the city attorney or who would have you guys have the authority to make sure that all of their vehicles are parked behind.
Yeah.
Because if you go by any of the other U-Haul rental self-storage places, they park their trucks out on the front of the street for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they all say U-Haul in giant letters on it.
That's absolutely right. I mean, so this is the primary area where they'd be storing all their stuff, but this parking lot up here that they don't own, but they're apparently using for cross-access here, and then there's a driveway here that we're recommending be closed. I don't know if they're going to be parking, is this going to be the next kind of like U-Haul display area out here.
Right, that's,
Point, Marty. So we want-
especially coming
we don't
down,
want-
as you're
yeah.
coming down the hill from the north.
Yeah.
You know,
So we don't want that here. This should be, any
Yeah.
kind of storage or display should be back here.
all of their
Yeah.
vehicles. Drive back there right now, on your way home. So
Cool.
anybody see what it looks like already, what the big mess is back there.
Every day.
Yeah. But drive around the back. Imagine some of that stuff maybe in that, you know, because they rent a variety of vehicles, including like trailers for towing cars and stuff like that, which are really unattractive. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and if there is no other discussion, all in favor of the motion to deny, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone want to move this forward, say nay. All right, the motion to deny has passed. Thank you.
I think we covered everything.
And we have a
We have some.
tracking update, if
Yeah.
any. And then possibly dates at our next meeting. All right, these are the tracking and the other.
Oh, is it the
Other
other one?
side, yeah,
Oh, this
just-
one here?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just one short slide.
okay.
So Makers Row, that's pictured on the top, was out there the other day. Construction's progressing pretty nicely on that building. The eye care specialists, along with Caribou, they're going up pretty quick as well. And then Three Leaf is even quicker. They had groundbreaking on April 9th, and that's a picture of Pat Connaughton at the groundbreaking. And then Duncan is also moving along steadily as well over in that corner. And then we did hear from Ethiopian Coffee Shop. They're just, the barista is planning on doing a soft opening soon for it. I'm not sure when, but she is taking some, the owner and operator is taking some classes right now to hopefully be open soon. And then the Michael's Food Truck Park, they are currently being held up in the process of just, their suppliers are being a little slow, and then also one of the members of the project just had a child too, so they're taking some time off, but within the next few weeks, they're hoping to come back to us with some, something, they said, an update, so that's it for now. If there's any other questions on it, let us know.
Thank you. And then if there are no questions on the tracking, our next item is a possible moving a meeting to the next week in May.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to move it back. That'd be a Wednesday.
One Wednesday later.
One Wednesday later, yeah.
22nd.
Right after Memorial Day. Memorial Day is what, Monday the
48 hours.
27th, I think.
We can do that.
I will not be available that day.
Okay.
Is that because of a jazz concert? At Hale, because mine is.
No. We're going on a cruise.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
My son is concert at Hale or something, I can't remember what music it is, but something.
If you wanna just check your schedules, if you're unsure, I mean, just let us
Is
know.
that before or after, I mean,
You were right at.
when's Memorial Day?
27th.
27th.
Monday the 27th, so this would be the Wednesday after as opposed to the Wednesday before. If you have a quorum, my feelings won't be hurt if you proceed without me on the 29th. I know you're an able chairperson.
Oh, rain's running it, we should be in and out in no time.
8 minutes. All right, then we just need a motion to the.
Second.
I almost said that. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned, thanks.
Thanks, Earl. Thanks all.
Well,
Oh, no.
that was good.
You know about Mike Lang wants to put him, look over the patio.
Glad something's going in there.
For him on.